True happiness does not come from the eyes of other people, because every opinion changes and every applause eventually fades. It begins when you stop placing your worth in the hands of the world and return to the quiet space within yourself. In the Buddhist way of seeing life, much of our suffering is not created by what happens outside us, but by the mind that clings to what cannot stay. Praise passes, success fades, relationships shift, even the emotions we try to hold eventually rise and fall. This audiobook, True Happiness is Experienced in Silence, is a journey through 12 Buddhist teachings about the kind of happiness that does not need to be displayed, explained, or proven. These teachings will guide you to release the need for approval, stop chasing validation, let go of what keeps your heart restless, and protect a silent space within you that no rejection, comparison, or outside noise can destroy. This is not a story about becoming cold or detached from life. It is a path back to quiet strength, inner freedom, and the peaceful dignity of being whole without needing the world to confirm it. True happiness is experienced in silence, because silence is where the heart stops performing and finally remembers itself. Chapter 1. When you stop searching outside, the inner door opens. You may have believed for a long time that happiness would arrive when something finally changed outside of you. A person would love you properly, a goal would be reached, your finances would become stable, your body would look the way you wanted, your family would understand you, your work would be recognized, life would become organized enough, safe enough, impressive enough, and then peace would finally come. That belief is deeply human. Nobody should be judged for wanting comfort, love, success, or security. Still, the Buddhist path invites you to look carefully at what happens after each desire is fulfilled. The pleasure comes, but it does not stay. A new achievement feels powerful for a few days. Then the mind asks what comes next. A compliment feels good, yet one criticism can erase its warmth. A loving message calms you for a moment, but silence from that same person brings anxiety back again. Through this pattern, you begin to see the restless movement of craving. It does not say, "Be happy now." It says, "Be happy later," when this one more thing happens. The tragedy is that later keeps moving. Once one condition is met, the mind creates another condition. There is always another door, another approval, another possession, another transformation, another version of yourself that seems more worthy of peace than the one sitting here right now. Buddhism does not deny that external things can bring joy. A kind relationship is beautiful. Meaningful work matters. Food, shelter, safety, and affection are real human needs. Yet, the teaching becomes sharp and compassionate when it reminds you not to confuse temporary pleasure with unshakable happiness. If your peace depends entirely on what changes, your peace will change with it. A person who gives you comfort may one day disappoint you. A career that gives you pride may one day become uncertain. The body you rely on will age. The world that praises you may also misunderstand you. When the heart rests only on these things, it remains secretly afraid. Even in good moments, fear whispers, "What if I lose this?" There is a story you can imagine in modern terms. A man spends years building the image of success. He works late, answers every message, buys the right clothes, keeps the right home, and learns how to appear calm even when his chest is heavy. People admire him. Friends say he has made it. Family members use him as proof that discipline works. Yet at night, when the house becomes quiet, he cannot sleep. His mind reviews everything that could go wrong. Someone younger might replace him. One mistake might damage his reputation. Another person's success might make his own feel smaller. The world sees achievement, but his inner life feels like a room with no window. One evening, exhausted beyond his usual ability to push through, he sits alone, without music, without a screen, without a plan. At first, the silence is uncomfortable. Then a simple truth rises. He does not truly want more. He wants rest from the need to become someone else. That moment is the beginning of wisdom. Many people are not unhappy because they have nothing. They are unhappy because the mind has forgotten how to be here without demanding more from the next moment. The Buddha's teaching on craving is not meant to shame you for wanting. It is meant to free you from being ruled by wanting. Desire says your life is incomplete until the outside world rearranges itself. Awareness says this breath is already a place to return. Craving says your worth is waiting in the future. Presence says your worth is not postponed. The shift may seem small, but it changes everything. When you stop searching outside as if the world is hiding your missing piece, the inner door begins to open. Gratitude becomes possible, not as forced positivity, but as clear seeing. You notice the warmth of tea in your hands, the quiet after a difficult day, the kindness of one honest conversation, the strength it took not to collapse when life disappointed you. Happiness becomes less dramatic, but more real. It no longer depends on being loud enough to impress others. A deeper kind of contentment grows from the ability to stop and recognize that this moment, imperfect as it is, does not need to be rejected before it can teach you something. Of course, the mind will still wander. It will still compare, plan, want, regret, and reach. Buddhist practice does not demand that you become a stone. It asks you to notice the movement without obeying it blindly. When the thought says, "I will only be happy when they choose me," you can breathe and ask, "Is my whole life truly waiting for one person's decision?" When ambition says, "You are nothing until you achieve more," another part of you can answer, "I can grow without hating where I am." This is how freedom begins, not with a perfect life, but with a mind that stops handing its peace to every changing condition. Happiness has not disappeared because you lack something. Often it is covered by the dust of constant pursuit. You have been running for so long that stillness feels unfamiliar. Yet stillness is not failure. It is the place where you remember that life is not only a race to win. Sometimes the most spiritual act is to stop measuring yourself for a moment and simply return. Return to your breath. Return to your body. Return to the quiet, knowing that having more is not the same as being whole. Once this truth is felt, not just understood, the outside world loses some of its power over you. You can still enjoy what comes. You can still grieve what leaves. You can still build, love, serve, and dream. But beneath all of it, a steadier ground begins to form. That ground is not built from applause. It is built from awareness. True happiness does not begin with adding more to your life. It begins when you stop placing your inner peace on things that were never meant to remain unchanged. Chapter 2. True happiness does not need witnesses. There is a quiet pain in wanting not only to be happy, but to be seen being happy. Modern life has made this pain feel normal. A meal becomes a photograph before it becomes a blessing. A vacation becomes proof before it becomes rest. A new relationship becomes a performance before it becomes intimacy. Even healing can become something people feel pressured to display, as if peace is only real when others can admire it. Maybe you have felt this in small ways. You posted something not because the moment was full, but because you wanted someone specific to see that you were fine. A smile was shared online while your heart was still uncertain. An achievement was announced less from joy than from the hidden wish that someone who underestimated you would regret it. No judgment is needed here. The need to be witnessed often comes from wounds. When a person has felt unseen for too long, the heart starts searching for proof that it matters. After being ignored, dismissed, compared, or treated as ordinary, it can feel powerful to make the world look. Yet Buddhism asks a piercing question. If your happiness must be witnessed to feel complete, is it truly free? This does not mean you should hide your life or never share joy. Celebration is beautiful when it comes from fullness. The danger begins when sharing becomes dependence. If the value of a moment rises or falls according to the response it receives, the moment has been handed over. A few likes make you feel visible. Silence makes you feel foolish. Praise brings warmth. Indifference creates doubt. The heart becomes a public room where strangers keep turning the lights on and off. True happiness is different. It remains present even when no one claps. Imagine a flower blooming deep in a forest where no human eye will ever notice it. The flower does not withhold its color because there is no audience. It does not ask whether its beauty matters without applause. Blooming is its nature. In the same way, a peaceful heart does not need to prove that it is peaceful. A meaningful life does not become meaningless because fewer people see it. A private victory does not lose its power because nobody congratulates you. In fact, some victories become more sacred because they happen quietly. The first night you sleep without checking whether they messaged you. The morning you wake up and no longer feel the urge to explain yourself. The moment you choose not to turn pain into a performance. These are not small things. They are silent turning points. Much of your life may have trained you to believe that being seen equals being safe. A child seeks the eyes of a parent. A student waits for approval from a teacher. An adult learns to measure success through recognition. Society rewards visibility, confidence, display, and constant announcement. Slowly, the private self becomes neglected. You may begin asking, "How does this look?" more than, "How does this feel in my soul?" That question is where the loss begins. Buddhism brings you back to direct experience. Before the world names it, what is here? Before anyone approves of your peace, can you feel it? Before a moment becomes a story, can you inhabit it? Such questions are not abstract. They are medicine. A person can stand beside the ocean and miss the ocean because they are busy trying to capture evidence that they were there. Another can sit quietly under a tree and receive the whole sky without needing to keep anything. The difference is presence. When happiness is constantly turned outward, it becomes fragile. When it is allowed to deepen inward, it becomes nourishment. There may be parts of you that still want certain people to know you are doing well. Perhaps an old lover, a family member, a friend who doubted you, or a world that once overlooked you. That desire is understandable, yet carrying it for too long keeps you tied to the very gaze you are trying to outgrow. If your peace is still secretly addressed to someone else, it is not fully yours. The Buddhist path gently asks you to reclaim it. Let some joys belong only to you. Let some growth remain unannounced. Allow certain blessings to be lived before they are spoken. There is strength in not reporting every transformation. A seed does not become stronger by being dug up every day to prove it is growing. Your inner life also needs protection. Not everyone who sees your happiness can honor it. Not everyone who hears about your healing will understand its tenderness. Some people will minimize what is sacred to you because they have no language for it. Others may pull you back into old versions of yourself because your quiet change disturbs their expectations. Silence, then, becomes a form of care. It gives your happiness roots before exposing it to weather. It lets peace mature before the world touches it with opinion. This is not secrecy from fear. It is privacy from wisdom. A deeper happiness begins when you can say, "This moment is real, even if no one knows about it." That sentence can free you from 1,000 performances. You do not need to turn every smile into proof. The fact that your nervous system is calmer matters. The fact that you no longer chase the same chaos matters. The fact that you are learning to enjoy your own company matters. No audience can add more truth to that. When peace is genuine, it changes your presence without needing announcement. People may feel something softer in you. Some may not notice at all. Neither response should own you. True happiness does not become greater when others admire it, and it does not become smaller when they fail to see it. A life lived deeply is still deep when it is quiet. Keep certain joys close to your chest. Let them warm you before they impress anyone. Allow the soul to bloom like the unseen flower, complete in its own nature. Not every beautiful thing in you needs to be brought into the marketplace of attention. Some forms of joy remain holy because they are held in silence. Chapter 3. Silence is not empty. It is where the mind begins to hear itself. Many people are afraid of silence because silence removes the distractions that protect them from their own inner life. Noise can be convenient. A screen fills the room. A conversation keeps the mind busy. Work provides a reason not to feel. Music, messages, errands, and endless thoughts create the illusion of movement. But when everything becomes quiet, the truth rises. Loneliness may appear. Grief may return. Anger may show its face. Fear, shame, regret, longing, and old memories may begin speaking from places you thought were healed. This is why silence is often avoided. It is not because silence is empty. It is because silence is full. Buddhism does not treat silence as a punishment or an escape. It treats silence as a field of awareness where the mind can finally be observed. There is a great difference between wounded silence and awakened silence. Wounded silence is what happens when you swallow your truth because you are afraid. It is the silence of someone who feels powerless, unheard, or emotionally frozen. That kind of silence can become heavy. Awakened silence is different. It is chosen. It is alive. It is the sacred pause before reaction. It is the space where you stop letting every wound grab the microphone of your life. In that pause, wisdom has room to enter. Consider what happens when someone insults you. The body reacts before philosophy can help. Heat rises. The jaw tightens. Thoughts rush forward with arguments, defenses, and sharp replies. A wounded part of you wants to prove that you are not weak, not wrong, not small, not the person they are trying to make you feel like. In those moments, the urge to speak can feel like survival. Yet if you pause for even one breath, something changes. The insult is still there, but you are no longer inside it completely. Awareness creates distance. Instead of being anger, you can see anger. Instead of becoming the wound, you can notice the wound. This is not passivity, it is mastery. The Buddha's path is not about becoming emotionless. It is about no longer being enslaved by every emotion that visits. A calm person still feels. A wise person still experiences pain. The difference is that pain does not automatically become action. Silence gives you the chance to ask, what is really being touched in me right now? Maybe the insult hurts because it echoes something from childhood. Perhaps rejection feels unbearable because an old abandonment has not been fully held. Another person's tone may disturb you not because of this moment alone, but because it awakens a long history of being dismissed. Without silence, you may attack the present while being driven by the past. With silence, you begin to see the layers. Such seeing is the beginning of healing. A person who never becomes quiet may spend a lifetime reacting to symptoms without understanding the roots. Buddhist silence is not merely the absence of speech, it is attention without immediate interference. You sit with the breath and notice its rhythm. A thought comes, and you do not chase it. A feeling tightens the chest, and you do not call it enemy. Restlessness appears, and instead of obeying it, you watch. Over time, this practice reveals a powerful truth. Not everything inside you needs to be believed, expressed, obeyed, posted, answered, or solved at once. Some things simply need to be seen clearly. This clarity softens the grip of old patterns. A fear observed with compassion begins to loosen. Anger held in awareness loses some of its fire. Sadness allowed to move through the body becomes less frightening. Silence becomes a room where neglected parts of you can enter without being judged. In daily life, this teaching can be practiced in very small ways. Before replying to a message that hurts you, breathe once. Before defending yourself in a conversation, feel your feet on the ground. Before making a decision from panic, place a hand on your chest and ask whether urgency is speaking or wisdom is speaking. These gestures may seem simple, but they interrupt lifetimes of unconscious reaction. Every time you do not react from an old wound, you reclaim a piece of your freedom. The world may still be loud. People may still misunderstand you. Life may still provoke, disappoint, and surprise you. But a silent center can be built within you. That center is not fragile quietness. It is disciplined presence. It allows you to respond instead of explode, to listen instead of assume, to step back instead of collapse into the drama of the moment. Some will misread your silence. They may think you have nothing to say. They may believe they have won. Let them. A person who measures strength only by noise cannot understand the power of inner stillness. The mountain does not argue with the wind. The lake does not prove its depth by making waves. In the same way, your silence can become a place where dignity gathers. It does not need to announce itself. It simply prevents your energy from being scattered by every passing disturbance. At first, silence may feel uncomfortable because it reveals how much pain has been hidden under activity. Stay with it gently. Do not force yourself into harsh emptiness. Begin with a few breaths, a quiet walk, a meal without distraction, a moment before sleep where you ask, "What is alive in me tonight?" Slowly, silence stops feeling like a threat and starts becoming a refuge. Within it, the mind hears what the noise concealed. The heart speaks in a softer language. Wisdom arrives without shouting. True happiness is experienced in silence, because silence is where you stop running from yourself and begin meeting yourself with courage. Chapter 4. Stop explaining yourself to people who do not want to understand. There is a special kind of exhaustion that comes from explaining your heart to someone who has already decided not to listen. You may know this tiredness well. Long messages written with trembling hands. Conversations where you repeat the same truth in different words. Apologies offered before you even understand what you did wrong. Emotional speeches given to people who only wait for their turn to defend themselves. At first, explaining feels like hope. Maybe if you find the right sentence, they will finally understand. Maybe if your pain becomes clear enough, they will stop hurting you. Maybe if you prove your intention, your love, your effort, or your sincerity, the relationship will become safe again. Yet over time, the soul begins to feel drained, not because communication is wrong, but because communication without receptivity becomes a form of self-abandonment. Buddhism values right speech. This does not mean speaking beautifully all the time. It means speaking with awareness, truth, kindness, timing, and purpose. Words can heal when they arise from clarity. They can also feed suffering when they come from panic, ego, fear, or the desperate need to be approved. A painful question must be asked. Are you speaking because truth needs to be expressed, or are you speaking because you cannot bear being misunderstood? The difference matters. Truthful expression leaves you grounded, even if the other person disagrees. Desperate explanation leaves you emptier the more you speak. Imagine a student asking a teacher, "How do I make someone understand me?" The teacher says nothing at first. He takes a cup and begins pouring tea into it. The cup fills, then overflows. Tea spills across the table, but the teacher continues pouring. The student becomes alarmed and says, "Master, the cup is already full. It cannot receive any more." The teacher looks at him and replies, "A mind full of judgment has no room for your explanation." This simple image can save you years of suffering. Some people do not misunderstand you because your words are unclear. They misunderstand you because understanding would require them to question themselves. Others hear only what protects their story. A few are not listening to know you. They are listening to defeat you. In such spaces, more words do not create more connection. They only give your energy away. This does not mean you become silent out of bitterness. nor does it mean you refuse all difficult conversations. Mature love requires communication. Healthy relationships need honesty. Still, there is a moment when repeating yourself becomes harmful. You can explain a boundary once with respect. You can share your feelings honestly. You can clarify what matters. After that, the other person's response tells you something. If they mock, twist, ignore, minimize, or punish your truth, the next lesson is not to become louder. The next lesson is to become clearer within yourself. A person who truly wants to understand will not require you to bleed emotionally before they take you seriously. Your pain does not need to be turned into a presentation to deserve kindness. Many people over-explain because somewhere in their history they learned that love had to be earned through perfect reasoning. Perhaps your feelings were dismissed when you were young. Maybe anger in others made you feel unsafe, so you learned to calm everyone by explaining yourself quickly. Possibly you were blamed so often that now you defend yourself before anyone accuses you. These patterns deserve compassion. They were survival strategies, but what once protected you can later imprison you. Over-explaining keeps you tied to the hope that if others finally approve of your inner world, you will be allowed to rest. Buddhist practice offers another freedom. You can witness your own experience without needing it to be validated by every person around you. If something hurt you, it hurt. If a path feels wrong for your soul, it matters. If peace requires distance, that distance does not need a courtroom defense. The work is to speak simply and stop bargaining with people who benefit from your confusion. A grounded sentence can be enough. This does not feel healthy for me. I need space. I am not available for this conversation when it becomes disrespectful. I have explained what I can. Such statements may feel strange if you are used to building entire bridges for people who will not cross them. Still, simplicity is powerful. It protects the mind from becoming tangled in endless justification. Right speech is not only about what you say, it is also about what you choose not to keep saying. When the heart is anxious, silence can feel like losing. You may worry that if you stop explaining, they will think they are right. Let them think what they think. Their interpretation is not the same as truth. A peaceful life requires releasing the need to manage every version of you that exists in other people's minds. Some will never understand your choices because they are committed to an old image of you. Others will call you selfish when you stop overgiving. Certain people may accuse you of changing when you begin to heal. In those moments, remember that your task is not to convince everyone that your growth is valid. Your task is to remain faithful to what awareness has shown you. The Buddha's teaching does not ask you to be harsh. It asks you to stop feeding suffering. If a conversation becomes a wheel of blame, defense, and emotional confusion, stepping back can be an act of wisdom. If words are being used to pull you into reactivity, silence can protect your dignity. If someone refuses to listen, your continued explanation may become a quiet form of begging. You are not here to beg for basic understanding from a closed heart. Speak with honesty. Listen with humility. Apologize when you are wrong. Clarify when clarification can help. Then stop turning your soul into evidence. Peace grows when your words come from truth, not from the terror of being disliked. The more you trust your own inner knowing, the less you need to perform your innocence. A clear heart does not need endless defense. Sometimes the most compassionate thing you can do for yourself is close the conversation before it consumes the part of you that was only trying to be loved. Chapter 5. Do not seek approval, seek direction. A life built around approval can look successful from the outside while feeling unstable within. You learn what earns praise, what avoids criticism, what makes your family comfortable, what impresses colleagues, what keeps a partner from leaving, what makes friends see you as agreeable, wise, generous, attractive, useful, or strong. Slowly, the question guiding your life becomes, will they approve of me, rather than, am I living in truth? This shift may happen so gradually that you do not notice the cost. Decisions become performances. Dreams are adjusted to fit expectations. Boundaries are softened to avoid disappointment. Even spiritual growth can become another image to maintain. You want to appear healed, calm, evolved, forgiving, positive, and unbothered, while inside you may be tired from trying to be acceptable to everyone. Buddhism speaks directly to this suffering through the teaching of the worldly winds. Praise and blame, gain and loss, pleasure and pain, fame and disrepute. These winds blow through every human life. If your happiness depends on the pleasant winds, the unpleasant ones will always terrify you. Praise lifts the ego, blame wounds it. Recognition makes you feel real, rejection makes you question yourself. But a mind that is constantly pushed around by approval cannot know freedom. Direction is different. Approval asks, do they like me? Direction asks, what is right for my path? Approval depends on changing voices. Direction arises from inner clarity. A person guided by approval must keep checking the room. Someone guided by direction can walk even when the room is uncertain. This does not mean becoming arrogant or ignoring wise counsel. Good advice has value. Loving feedback can protect you from blindness. Yet there is a difference between listening and surrendering your life. If every choice must pass through the fear of disappointing others, your soul becomes a committee meeting where everyone has a vote except you. Perhaps you know the feeling. A career drains you, but others call it impressive. A relationship hurts you, yet people say you should be grateful. A version of success looks good on paper, though your body feels heavy every morning. A quieter path calls to you, but you fear being judged as lazy, strange, unambitious, selfish, or foolish. In such moments, approval becomes a cage decorated with compliments. It may look respectable, but it keeps you far from peace. Imagine someone leaving a job that once gave them status, but slowly destroyed their health. People around them react strongly. Some say they are wasting potential. Others warn that stepping away is weakness. A few secretly envy their courage, but disguise it as criticism. At first, doubt rises. The old habit asks, what if they are right? Then morning comes, breath feels deeper. The mind no longer wakes with dread. Meals taste different. Weekends stop feeling like recovery from injury. No applause arrives, but the body begins to trust life again. That quiet relief is a kind of evidence outsiders cannot measure. Buddhist wisdom asks you to respect that evidence. The body often knows when the soul is betraying itself. Restlessness, resentment, numbness, and constant fatigue may be signals that you have been living by approval instead of direction. A person aligned with inner truth is not always comfortable, but there is a clean feeling beneath the difficulty. The path may be hard, yet it does not feel false. Seeking direction requires stillness, because the inner voice is easily drowned out by fear. Sit quietly and ask simple questions. What am I doing only to be admired? Where am I saying yes because I am afraid of being disliked? Which part of my life looks good but feels wrong? What would become possible if I stopped needing everyone to understand? These questions are not meant to create rebellion for its own sake. They are invitations to honesty. In Buddhist practice, honesty is not brutality. It is clear seeing. Once you see clearly, you can act with less confusion. Approval will still tempt you. A compliment will still feel pleasant. Criticism may still sting. That is natural. The goal is not to become numb to human response. The goal is to stop making response your master. When someone praises you, receive it lightly. When another blames you, examine it wisely without collapsing. Some criticism contains truth. Some only contains another person's fear. Direction gives you the ability to discern the difference. Without direction, every voice becomes a command. With direction, Voices become information, not identity. This teaching becomes especially powerful when you are healing. People who benefited from your old patterns may not celebrate your freedom. If you used to overgive, they may call your boundaries selfish. If you used to explain everything, they may call your silence cold. If you used to shrink, they may call your confidence arrogance. These reactions do not always mean you are wrong. Sometimes they mean the system around you is adjusting to a version of you that no longer abandons itself. Stay humble, but do not crawl back into a smaller life just because others are uncomfortable with your growth. Not everyone needs to understand your road. Some roads only reveal their meaning once you begin walking. The Buddhist path is often described as something to be practiced, not merely believed. No one else can breathe for you. No one can sit inside your mind and know exactly what brings peace or suffering there. Teachers can guide. Loved ones can support. Books can point. Still, your steps are yours. A life of approval is loud because it constantly asks for permission. A life of direction is quieter because it listens more deeply. When direction becomes your compass, happiness stops being a public vote. You no longer need every person to say, "Yes, this is acceptable." Instead, a steadier question arises. Does this path reduce suffering, increase wisdom, protect compassion, and bring me closer to truth? If the answer is yes, keep walking. Let others misunderstand for a while. Let the world take time. Your peace is not required to submit evidence to every passing opinion. There are paths that shine only when you are brave enough to walk them in silence. Chapter 6. Accepting what you cannot change is not defeat. A great deal of suffering comes from fighting what has already happened. The mind returns to a conversation that cannot be replayed, a choice that cannot be undone, a person who has already left, an opportunity that has already passed, a childhood that cannot be rewritten, or a truth that refuses to become what you wanted. It says, "If only." It asks, "Why me?" It imagines alternate endings with painful creativity. In the beginning, this may feel like an attempt to heal. You think that if you analyze the past enough, it will finally release you. Yet often, the opposite happens. The mind keeps the wound alive by refusing to stop negotiating with reality. Acceptance is one of the most misunderstood forms of strength. Many people hear the word and think it means giving up, becoming passive, approving of harm, or pretending pain does not matter. Buddhist acceptance is none of these things. It is the moment you stop wasting your life arguing with the fact that something is real. It does not say, "This was okay." It says, "This happened, and now I must meet the present clearly." That clarity is not weakness. It is the beginning of freedom. As long as the mind insists that reality should not be reality, energy remains trapped. Once acceptance enters, energy becomes available for wise action. You can grieve, learn, leave, rebuild, forgive, protect yourself, or begin again. None of these are possible while you are still fighting the existence of what is. The Buddha taught that suffering is intensified by clinging and resistance. Pain may be unavoidable, but the mind often adds a second layer. The first pain is loss. The second pain is the endless refusal to let loss be true. The first pain is betrayal. The second pain is replaying it every day, as if repetition will produce a different ending. The first pain is disappointment. The second pain is turning disappointment into an identity. Acceptance removes the second arrow. It does not erase the first, but it stops you from piercing yourself again and again. Imagine a woman who spends years blaming a past relationship. The person is no longer in her life, yet conversations with him continue inside her mind. She explains, accuses, defends, and asks for answers in silence while doing dishes, driving to work, or lying awake at night. Friends tell her to move on, but that phrase only makes her feel unseen. One day, something quiet shifts. She realizes she may never receive the apology she deserves. The full truth may never be admitted. The ending may never feel fair. At first, this recognition hurts deeply. Then a strange relief follows. If the answer is not coming, she no longer has to organize her life around waiting for it. That is acceptance. Not saying the past was right, but refusing to keep sacrificing the present to it. You may have your own version of this story. Perhaps there is a parent who never became who you needed, a friend who changed, a mistake you still punish yourself for, a season of life that ended before you were ready, a dream that did not unfold as promised. The mind may believe that accepting these things means losing the last connection to them. Actually, acceptance changes the connection. It takes the event out of the center of your life and places it inside your history. The pain may remain, but it no longer gets to be the author of every chapter. This distinction matters. Acceptance is not the same as indifference. A healed person can still remember. Tears may still come. Certain dates, songs, places, or words may still touch something tender. The goal is not to become untouched by life. The goal is to stop letting what touched you control every direction you take. Buddhist practice helps by bringing attention back to the present body. When the mind says, "I cannot believe this happened," feel your breath, notice your hands, look at the room, gently name what is true now. I am here. That moment is not happening in this room. This breath belongs to today. Such practice may seem too simple for deep pain, but trauma and grief often pull awareness out of the present. Returning to the body is a way of returning to life. From that place, you can ask, what is the next wise step? Not the perfect step, not the step that fixes everything, only the next honest one. Sometimes acceptance leads to a boundary. Other times it leads to mourning. At times it leads to repair. Occasionally it leads to forgiveness, though forgiveness must never be forced to satisfy someone else's spiritual image. True acceptance respects timing. It does not demand that you heal on command. It simply invites you to stop using resistance as proof that the pain mattered. Your pain matters even when you stop fighting. Your love mattered even when you let go. Your loss mattered even when you begin smiling again. Many people secretly fear that if they accept what happened, they are allowing it to win. In truth, resistance often gives the past more power than acceptance ever could. The past wins when it keeps deciding your present reactions, your future choices, and your sense of worth. Acceptance takes that power back. It says, "This is part of my life, but it is not the whole of my life." A person who accepts reality can act with dignity. A mind that refuses reality reacts from panic. This is why acceptance is not defeat. It is the ground from which sane action becomes possible. You do not heal by making the past disappear. You heal when the past is no longer allowed to govern the present moment. Let yourself grieve what cannot be changed. Bow to the truth without bowing to despair. A quiet strength will begin to rise when you stop demanding a different yesterday and start caring for the life that is still breathing in your hands today. Chapter 7. Letting go does not mean you stop loving. Letting go can sound cruel when your heart is still attached. It may feel like betrayal, as if releasing your grip means the love was not real, the dream did not matter, or the effort was wasted. Because of this fear, many people keep holding on long after holding has become a form of suffering. They hold on to a person who no longer chooses them, a future that no longer exists, an identity that no longer fits, a memory that brings more pain than warmth, a version of themselves built to survive a life they are no longer living. Buddhism does not ask you to become heartless. It asks you to see clearly where love has turned into clinging. Love and clinging can look similar from the outside, but inside they feel very different. Love has warmth, respect, generosity, and space. Clinging has fear, control, anxiety, and the desperate belief that you cannot be okay unless something stays exactly as you want it. Love says, "May this be well." Clinging says, "This must be mine." Love allows life to breathe. Clinging tightens around life until both hands hurt. The Buddhist teaching on attachment is not a rejection of relationship, beauty, ambition, or devotion. It is an invitation to relate without possession. You can care deeply without making another person responsible for your entire inner stability. You can pursue a dream without making failure proof that you are worthless. You can cherish a season of life without demanding that it last forever. This is not easy. The human heart wants to keep what it loves. Still, impermanence is not asking permission. Everything changes, including the people you love, the roles you play, the body you inhabit, the plans you make, and the feelings you once believed would never shift. Letting go is the art of living with open hands in a changing world. Imagine holding sand tightly in your fist. The harder you squeeze, the faster it slips through your fingers. Panic makes the grip stronger, but the grip does not save the sand. It only creates tension. When the hand opens, some grains may remain and some may fall. Either way, the hand is no longer suffering from its own force. Relationships often teach this lesson. When fear takes over, love becomes monitoring, checking, demanding, testing, and needing constant reassurance. You may call it devotion, but your nervous system knows it is terror. A message not answered quickly becomes a threat. A shift in tone becomes a story. Another person's distance becomes a verdict on your worth. In that state, the beloved is no longer simply a person. They become the object your mind believes it must control to survive. Letting go begins when you return responsibility for your peace to yourself. This does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop confusing care with dependence. A healthier love becomes possible when you can say, "I want you in my life, but I will not abandon myself to keep you there." The same teaching applies to success. Many people cling to outcomes because they believe the result will finally make them acceptable. A project must succeed. A business must grow. A book must be praised. A body must become admired. A plan must unfold exactly. Effort becomes tense because identity is on the line. Buddhist wisdom does not tell you to stop acting. On the contrary, it encourages sincere effort. The difference is non-attachment to the fruit. Do the work with care. Plant the seed. Water it. Protect it where you can. Then remember that weather, soil, timing, and countless conditions also play their part. When you release the illusion of total control, effort becomes cleaner. You can act without turning every outcome into a personal trial. Letting go also applies to old versions of yourself. Perhaps you were once the strong one, the pleasing one, the achiever, the rescuer, the quiet one, the rebellious one, or the person who never needed help. That identity may have protected you, but now it may be limiting you. Releasing it can feel like death because the familiar self is powerful. Yet growth often requires grieving the person you had to be before you can become the person peace is asking you to become. There is tenderness in this. Do not shame the old self. Bow to it. Thank it for carrying you through. Then loosen your grip. A new life cannot fully enter hands that are still clenched around survival. Some people fear that letting go will make them indifferent. In truth, attachment often makes people less loving because fear takes up so much space. When you stop clinging, compassion becomes freer. You can see the other person more clearly, not just through the lens of what they provide you. You can enjoy a moment without secretly trying to freeze it. Loss still hurts, but it no longer destroys your entire foundation. Love becomes less about possession and more about presence. This is one of the most mature forms of happiness. It is quiet because it does not need to control. It is strong because it does not collapse when life moves. Practice letting go in small ways. Release the need to answer every thought. Let a conversation end without winning. Allow a plan to change without calling the day ruined. Put down the phone when checking it has become self-harm. Breathe when the mind says, "I must know now." Each small release trains the heart in freedom. Over time, you discover that what truly belongs in your life does not require violence against yourself to remain. What leaves may still be grieved, but it does not have to take your soul with it. There are things that only become gentle when you stop turning them into conditions for your peace. Letting go does not mean you did not love. Often, it means you are finally learning to love without chains. A quiet heart can hold life with tenderness, but it does not need to imprison life to feel safe. That is freedom. That is wisdom. That is happiness with open hands. Chapter 8. Living in the present is the simplest way back to happiness. The present moment is the only place where life can actually be touched, yet the mind spends much of its time somewhere else. It revisits conversations from yesterday, imagines failures that have not happened, compares your life with someone else's display, plans the next task while the current one is unfinished, and turns ordinary minutes into waiting rooms for a better future. This is why many people feel tired even when nothing dramatic is happening. The body is here, but attention is scattered across time. Buddhism brings you back with a simple and radical teaching. Wake up to this moment, not because the present is always pleasant, but because it is real. The past is memory, the future is imagination. Only this breath is available for direct experience. Mindfulness is often made to sound complicated, but at its heart, it is intimate and practical. It means knowing that you are breathing while you are breathing, knowing that you are walking while you are walking, knowing that sadness is present without becoming lost in the story of sadness, noticing anger without immediately handing it your voice, feeling the warmth of water on your hands while washing dishes, tasting food instead of using a meal as background noise for worry. In this sense, mindfulness is not an escape from life, it is the act of finally entering life. A person can own many beautiful things and still be absent from them. Another can have a modest morning and feel deeply alive because attention is present. The difference is not always circumstance. Often, it is the quality of presence. Think of someone eating breakfast while scrolling through messages, planning work, judging their body, worrying about money, and replaying a tense conversation. The food is there, but not truly received. Morning light is there, but not seen. Breath is there, but unnoticed. A day begins, yet the mind has already abandoned it. Later, the same person may say life feels empty. Perhaps life is not empty. Perhaps attention has been trained to leave too quickly. The Buddhist path does not condemn this. Modern life is built to steal attention. Devices, deadlines, comparison, and constant urgency make presence feel almost rebellious. To sit with one cup of tea and do nothing else can seem unproductive. Yet that simple act may restore more sanity than another hour of restless achievement. Happiness in silence often begins with reclaiming small experiences from distraction. A deep breath before opening your phone. 3 mindful steps from one room to another. Listening fully when someone speaks. Feeling your chest rise and fall before answering a difficult message. These moments are not dramatic, but they return you to yourself. The mind may complain that this is too ordinary to matter. It wants transformation to feel grand. Buddhism smiles at this tendency because awakening often hides in the ordinary. A monk sweeping leaves, a mother washing a bowl, a worker walking home under evening sky, a tired person placing both feet on the floor and breathing honestly after a hard day. These are not interruptions to spiritual life. They are spiritual life when met with awareness. Living in the present also softens anxiety because many fears are not happening now. The mind projects scenes, arguments, losses, embarrassments, illnesses, endings, and disasters. Some concerns may require action, but worry often repeats without helping. When you return to now, you do not deny the future. You simply stop living inside imagined pain before it arrives. Ask gently, what is actually happening in this moment? Maybe the answer is, I am sitting in a chair. My shoulders are tense. A thought about tomorrow is here. Breath is moving. This simple naming can loosen the spell. The future may still need planning, but it no longer gets to occupy your entire nervous system. Regret works in a similar way. The past may hold lessons, but endless replay becomes suffering. Mindfulness lets you honor what happened without living there. It says, that was then, and this is the breath through which I can begin again. Every moment of awareness is a small rebirth. You are not required to carry the same mental state from morning to night. A harsh thought can be noticed and released. A wave of sadness can be held and allowed to pass. A moment of beauty can be received before the mind rushes past it. Through practice, you begin to understand that happiness is not always a peak experience. Sometimes it is the absence of inner war. It is sitting quietly and not needing the moment to become something else. It is walking outside without turning every thought into a problem. It is drinking water and feeling grateful that the body is still asking to be cared for. Such happiness is subtle, but subtle does not mean weak. A life built from small moments of presence becomes deeply stable. The present also teaches humility. You cannot live tomorrow's wisdom today. You can only take today's step. You cannot breathe next week's breath. Only this one is yours. When the mind demands certainty about the whole road, bring attention back to the next footstep. This is how overwhelming life becomes workable. One mindful action at a time, one honest conversation, one boundary, one rest, one act of forgiveness, one return. The path is not walked in theory. It is walked through moments. If you find that your mind has wandered 1,000 times, do not call that failure. The practice is returning. Each return strengthens the part of you that remembers. There is no need for drama. Just come back. Come back to the breath, to the room, to the body, to the task, to the person in front of you, to the quiet space beneath thought. Perhaps what you are looking for is not waiting in some perfect tomorrow. It may already be here, hidden beneath your absence from now. True happiness is experienced in silence, because silence gives the present enough space to be felt. When you are fully here, even an ordinary life becomes rich with details the restless mind used to miss. Chapter 9. Impermanence does not steal happiness. It makes happiness precious. Everything changes, and the heart often resists this truth with all its strength. People change, bodies change, homes change, seasons change, feelings change. The face you see in the mirror shifts slowly. The people you love become older. A friendship that once felt permanent may grow distant. A role that defined you may end. Even a moment of joy begins passing the instant it arrives. The Buddhist teaching of impermanence can seem painful at first because it removes the fantasy that anything can be kept exactly as it is. Yet when understood deeply, impermanence does not make life meaningless. It makes life tender. It teaches you to hold what is here with more presence, because it will not be here in the same way forever. Many people suffer not only because things change, but because they expected them not to. The mind creates contracts life never signed. This relationship must remain the same. This body must stay strong. This success must keep giving me identity. This person must always understand me. This season must not end. When reality breaks those silent contracts, pain rises. Buddhism does not mock the pain. It simply says, look carefully. Change was always part of the nature of this. This seeing can feel like heartbreak, but it also frees you from the arrogance of control. You cannot stop the river by loving one wave. A wave is beautiful because it moves. A flower is precious because it blooms and fades. Childhood matters because it cannot be repeated. A meal with someone you love is sacred because one day the chairs around the table will be different. Consider a simple family dinner. Maybe at one time it felt ordinary, even boring. Someone complains about the food. A parent repeats a familiar story. A sibling checks their phone. Nothing seems remarkable. Years later, after distance, aging, illness, or loss, that same memory may glow with a tenderness you did not feel at the time. Impermanence reveals that ordinary moments are often blessings wearing plain clothes. If you wait until something is gone to value it, regret becomes your teacher. Mindfulness allows gratitude to arrive earlier. It helps you look at the person in front of you and remember this exact moment will not return. That recognition does not need to make you sad. It can make you more alive. You listen more carefully. You forgive more wisely. You put down the phone. You stop postponing kindness. Impermanence also changes your relationship with pain. When suffering comes, the mind says, "This will last forever." Anxiety claims permanence. Grief claims permanence. Shame claims permanence. Loneliness claims permanence. The teaching of impermanence gently corrects them. This, too, is changing. Not always quickly, not always in the way you prefer, but no state remains fixed forever. The breath moves, sensations shift, thoughts arise and pass. Even the hardest season is not a solid wall, it is weather. Remembering this does not erase pain, but it prevents despair from becoming absolute. A person in deep sadness may not need someone to say, "Be positive." Often, they need a quieter truth. This is real, and it is also moving. Such truth is compassionate because it honors the present without imprisoning the future. The same applies to pleasure. Impermanence teaches you to enjoy without clinging. When a good moment appears, receive it fully. Do not ruin it by fearing its end. Many people cannot enjoy happiness because they are already trying to protect it from change. They hold a beautiful moment with anxiety, asking how long it will last, whether it means something, whether it can be repeated. In doing so, they miss the very joy they wanted to keep. A wise heart lets joy be joy. It does not demand a lifetime guarantee from a passing blessing. This is not carelessness, it is intimacy with reality. You can love a sunset without needing it to stop moving. You can cherish a person without pretending they are yours to control. You can appreciate youth, health, success, and companionship while remembering that their changing nature is what asks you to be awake. Impermanence also loosens the rigid sense of self. You are not the same person you were 10 years ago. Thoughts that once ruled you may now seem distant. Wounds that once defined you may have softened. Preferences changed. Strengths appeared. Certainties dissolved. If you cling too tightly to any identity, growth becomes threatening. Buddhism invites you to see the self as a process, not a fixed object. This can be liberating. You are not condemned to remain the person you were in your worst moment. A mistake is impermanent. A mood is impermanent. A label is impermanent. Even the story you tell about yourself can change when awareness deepens. In that way, impermanence is not only about loss, it is also the reason healing is possible. If everything were permanent, pain would never move, ignorance would never soften, and freedom would never open. Change is the same law that takes and gives, ends and begins, humbles and renews. Learning to live with impermanence means becoming less violent with life. Instead of gripping, you appreciate. Rather than demanding, you participate. Control relaxes into care. Fear softens into presence. A moment becomes enough not because it will last, but because you are finally here for it. The more deeply you understand impermanence, the less you postpone love. Say the kind word. Take the quiet walk. Watch the sky. Listen while the person is still speaking. Care for the body while it is still asking gently. Release the argument that no longer matters. Let beauty reach you before it becomes memory. True happiness is experienced in silence because silence allows impermanence to be felt without panic. In that feeling, life becomes more precious, not less. Every passing moment becomes a teacher saying, "Do not sleep through what you are here to love." Chapter 10. Stop judging, and you will hear life more clearly. Judgment creates a constant noise in the mind. It labels, compares, ranks, condemns, defends, and divides. This is good. That is bad. They are better. I am behind. This should not be happening. I should be different. He is selfish. She is weak. My life is a failure. Their life is perfect. The mind may believe judgment gives it control, but often it only creates tension. You can spend an entire day not living life directly, but evaluating it. Every person becomes a category. Every feeling becomes a problem. Every mistake becomes evidence. Buddhism does not ask you to abandon discernment. Wisdom requires seeing clearly. Harmful behavior must still be recognized. Boundaries still matter. Accountability still matters. Yet there is a profound difference between clear seeing and compulsive judgment. Clear seeing is calm, precise, and useful. Judgment is tight, reactive, and often tied to ego. It does not simply notice what happened. It adds a story of superiority, inferiority, resentment, shame, or fear. That added layer is where much suffering grows. The habit of judging often begins with the self. You make a mistake, and the mind says, "I am useless." A difficult emotion appears, and the mind says, "I should be over this by now." Progress is slow, so the mind says, "Something is wrong with me." These judgments do not make you wiser. They make healing feel unsafe. A person cannot grow well under constant inner attack. Imagine trying to teach a child by insulting them every time they stumble. Confidence would shrink, curiosity would close. The same thing happens inside you. Harsh self-judgment may pretend to be discipline, but it often produces fear, avoidance, and exhaustion. Buddhist awareness offers another way. It says, see what is here without immediately turning it into identity. There is anger here. There is sadness here. There is jealousy here. There is fear here. Naming an experience without becoming it creates space. Instead of saying, "I am a terrible person for feeling this," you can say, "A painful emotion is present, and I can meet it with honesty." This shift is subtle but powerful. Feelings become visitors, not verdicts. Mistakes become teachers, not life sentences. The same practice can transform how you see others. When someone acts with anger, the judging mind quickly builds a complete identity around one behavior. They are awful. They are impossible. They are beneath you. Sometimes strong action is needed. You may need distance, truth, or protection. Still, hatred is not required for clarity. If you look more deeply, you may see a person driven by fear, pain, conditioning, ignorance, or unmet wounds. Seeing this does not excuse harm. It prevents your heart from being poisoned by the belief that another person's worst moment is their whole being. Compassion and boundaries can stand together. You can say no with a clean heart. You can step away without dehumanizing. This is difficult, but it is freedom. The less you judge, the more accurately you perceive. Judgment often distorts reality because it filters the present through past wounds. If you were betrayed before, you may judge distance as rejection. If you were criticized often, neutral feedback may feel like attack. If you carry shame, another person's success may seem like proof of your failure. Mindfulness helps you slow down before believing the first interpretation. Ask, "What do I know for sure?" Then ask, "What story is my mind adding?" This simple inquiry can prevent much unnecessary suffering. Perhaps a friend did not reply because they are overwhelmed, not because they no longer care. Maybe your slow progress is not failure, but a natural pace. Possibly another person's confidence is not arrogance, but ease in their own skin. The world becomes less threatening when the mind stops turning every event into a verdict. Judgment also feeds comparison. In a culture of constant visibility, comparison becomes almost automatic. You see someone's achievement and judge your timeline. Their relationship becomes a mirror for your loneliness. Their body becomes an accusation against yours. Their happiness becomes a question about your worth. This is not seeing. This is suffering disguised as observation. Buddhism reminds you that every being carries causes and conditions you cannot fully know. A photograph does not reveal a nervous system. A smile does not show a private grief. Success does not display the cost. Failure does not reveal the hidden seed. When you stop judging appearances, envy loses some of its authority. You become free to walk your own road without turning every other life into evidence against yours. Practicing non-judgment does not mean becoming vague or passive. It means meeting reality before adding unnecessary suffering. If a situation is unhealthy, see it clearly. If you have made a mistake, acknowledge it. If change is needed, act. But do not wrap everything in hatred, shame, or superiority. A calm mind can respond more effectively than a judging mind. Inner peace does not come from approving of everything. It comes from reducing the violence of your interpretations. Try this in daily life. When judgment appears, pause. Notice the tone in your mind. Is it harsh? Is it fearful? Is it trying to protect you? Thank the mind for trying, then look again with more space. Instead of I am failing, try I am learning something difficult. Rather than they are terrible, try. This behavior is painful and I can choose my response. Instead of my life is behind, try. My path has its own timing. These are not empty positive phrases. They are ways of returning from punishment to clarity. Each time you judge less, your heart becomes lighter. The world may not change immediately, but your experience of it changes. More nuance appears. More compassion becomes available. Less energy is spent fighting mental labels. You begin to hear life more clearly because the noise of constant evaluation quiets down. True happiness is experienced in silence because silence allows you to see without rushing to condemn. In that seeing, wisdom becomes possible. In that wisdom, peace has room to grow. Chapter 11. Be compassionate toward yourself before trying to save the world. It is possible to be gentle with everyone except yourself. You may know how to comfort a friend, forgive someone's mistake, encourage a struggling colleague, or speak kindly to a child who feels afraid. Yet when your own heart trembles, the voice inside becomes harsh. You should have known better. You are too sensitive. You are behind. You always ruin things. Why can't you be stronger? Many people live with an inner critic so familiar that they mistake it for truth. Buddhism teaches compassion for all beings, but you are not excluded from all beings. Your suffering is not less worthy of tenderness because it belongs to you. Self-compassion is not self-pity, laziness, or excuse-making. It is the stable ground from which honest growth becomes possible. A person who hates themselves may change behaviors for a while, but the change is often driven by fear. A person who meets themselves with compassion can change from understanding. That difference matters. Harshness may create pressure, but compassion creates safety. In safety, the mind becomes brave enough to see clearly. Shame hides, compassion looks. Shame says, I am bad. Compassion says, something painful is here, and I can care for it wisely. Think of the way you speak to someone you love after they fail. You probably would not say, you are worthless. This proves everything wrong with you. More likely, you would say, I know this hurts. Take a breath. Let's understand what happened. You can learn from this. Why should your own heart receive less mercy? Some people fear that if they stop attacking themselves, they will stop improving. This belief is deeply rooted, especially in cultures that confuse self-punishment with responsibility. Yet constant inner punishment does not produce peace. It produces anxiety, defensiveness, and exhaustion. True responsibility is not cruelty. It is the willingness to meet consequences without abandoning your own humanity. You can admit a mistake without becoming the mistake. Apologize without groveling before shame. Learn without turning the lesson into a weapon against yourself. Buddhist compassion, often spoken of as a boundless quality, begins in the intimate space of your own mind. If your inner world is a battlefield, every outer victory will feel temporary. You may succeed, be praised, loved, and admired, but the voice within will still find a way to make you feel unsafe. No amount of external validation can fully heal a person who is committed to rejecting themselves. This is why self-compassion is not a luxury. It is essential. Imagine someone who always tells friends, "It's okay. You did your best with what you knew." They offer warmth easily. Then one day, they make a mistake at work, lose patience with someone they love, or fall back into an old habit. Immediately, the inner voice says, "You are hopeless." For the first time, they notice the cruelty. A question arises. Why do I speak to myself in a way I would never speak to someone I care about? That question can open a door. From there, practice begins. Not dramatic practice, quiet practice. A hand on the heart after a difficult moment, a sentence spoken inwardly. "This is painful, and I will not abandon myself." A breath before the punishment starts. A willingness to repair without self-destruction. Self-compassion also means caring for your body, not only your emotions. Rest is not weakness. Food is not something to be earned through perfection. Movement can be an act of gratitude rather than punishment. Boundaries are not selfish when they protect your ability to remain kind. A tired person often becomes reactive, resentful, and spiritually numb. Caring for your nervous system is part of the path. You cannot pour peace into the world while constantly draining the vessel through which peace must pass. Many people who want to help others secretly use helping as a way to avoid their own pain. They become the rescuer, the listener, the strong one, the wise one, the person who is always available. On the surface, this looks compassionate. Inside, it may hide a belief that your worth depends on being needed. Buddhist wisdom brings balance. Compassion does not mean carrying every suffering you encounter. It means meeting suffering with an open heart and wise action. Without self-compassion, service becomes martyrdom. With self-compassion, service becomes clean. You can care without collapsing, give without disappearing, listen without absorbing every wound as your own. Another part of self-compassion is patience with your pace. Healing rarely follows the timeline the ego prefers. You may understand a teaching and still struggle to live it. A pattern may return after months of progress. Old grief may visit unexpectedly. None of this means you are failing. It means you are human. The path is not a straight line upward. It is a spiral of remembering, forgetting, and returning with more awareness. Speak to yourself during setbacks as a teacher would speak to a sincere student, not as a judge condemning a criminal. The softer voice is not weaker. It is more effective because it keeps the heart open. Try replacing inner violence with honest kindness. I see that I am hurting. I can take responsibility without hating myself. This feeling is difficult, but it is not the whole of me. I am allowed to begin again. These phrases may feel unfamiliar at first. If you have lived for years under self-criticism, compassion may seem undeserved. Practice anyway. The heart learns through repetition. Over time, a new inner atmosphere forms. You become less afraid of your own imperfection. More energy becomes available for growth because less is wasted on self-attack. True happiness cannot grow well in a mind that treats you as an enemy. Peace needs an inner home where mistakes can be acknowledged, pain can be held, and the human being within you is not constantly sentenced. Before trying to save the world, stop wounding the one person you are responsible for living with every day, yourself. When compassion includes you, it becomes whole. From that wholeness, love can move outward without desperation. A heart that cares for itself can care for others with greater freedom, greater steadiness, and far less hidden resentment. This is not selfish. It is the beginning of mature kindness. Chapter 12. When you are peaceful, compassion naturally spreads into the world. Some people misunderstand inner peace as withdrawal from life. They imagine a peaceful person as someone who no longer cares, no longer feels, no longer engages, and no longer responds to the suffering around them. But real peace is not indifference. It is the ground from which wise compassion becomes possible. When the mind is consumed by ego, fear, resentment, and the hunger for approval, even kindness can become tangled. You may help others to feel needed. You may give so they will not leave. You may forgive quickly to preserve an image of being spiritual. You may listen while secretly hoping to be seen as good. Peace cleans the roots of compassion. It allows love to move without so much self-interest. In Buddhist understanding, compassion is not pity. Pity looks down. Compassion comes close. It recognizes that all beings suffer. All beings seek happiness. All beings are shaped by causes and conditions. And all beings want to be free from pain, even when they do not know how. Once your own inner noise begins to settle, you can see others more clearly. Their anger is still harmful, but you may also see fear beneath it. Their arrogance is still unpleasant, yet you may sense insecurity behind the performance. Their distance may still hurt, though you no longer need to turn it into a story about your worth. This does not make you naive. It makes you less easily poisoned. Compassion with wisdom can hold two truths at once. This person is suffering, and I do not have to let their suffering harm me. That balance is essential. Without boundaries, compassion becomes self-erasure. Without compassion, boundaries become cold defense. A peaceful heart learns the middle way. It can say yes with sincerity and no without hatred. It can help when help is clean and step back when involvement would feed confusion. It can wish someone well from a distance. Many people need this teaching because they confuse love with carrying. They believe that if they do not absorb another person's pain, they are not loving enough. Yet absorbing pain unconsciously does not heal the world. It only multiplies suffering. A calm presence often helps more than anxious rescue. Imagine a lamp in a dark room. The lamp does not shout, "Look at me, I am useful." It simply shines. Anyone who enters receives light. A person rooted in peace becomes similar. Their calm does not need performance. Their kindness does not need announcement. The way they speak, listen, pause, and respond becomes a quiet teaching. They do not have to convince everyone to live differently. Their life itself becomes an invitation. This is one of the most beautiful results of silent happiness. When you no longer live to be seen, your presence becomes more genuine. People may feel safer around you because you are not constantly asking them to validate you. Conversations become less about proving and more about understanding. Love becomes less about control and more about care. Work becomes less about ego and more about contribution. Even conflict changes because you are not fighting for an identity every time someone disagrees. Inner peace makes outer compassion steadier. It also helps you respond to the world's pain without drowning in it. The world contains more suffering than one nervous system can hold. News, injustice, illness, loneliness, conflict, and private heartbreak surround human life. A sensitive person may feel overwhelmed and either shut down or burn out. Buddhist compassion offers another way. Stay open, but stay rooted. Do what is yours to do. Offer the kindness that is possible today. Speak truth where your voice can serve. Help the person in front of you. Support what reduces suffering. Then return to the breath. You are not required to carry the entire world in order to care about it. Even the Buddha did not remove all suffering by force. He pointed to a path. He embodied freedom. He taught those ready to listen. This is a humble and powerful model. Compassion is not control over outcomes. It is sincere participation in healing where conditions allow. In everyday life, this may look simple. You listen to someone without turning their pain into your identity. A harsh person speaks, and you answer firmly without cruelty. Someone succeeds, and instead of envy, you practice rejoicing. Another struggles, and you help without needing credit. A family member remains trapped in old patterns, and you stop trying to drag them into awareness before they are ready. These small acts matter. They are the way peace enters the world through ordinary human behavior. Compassion also includes how you move through spaces. A patient tone with a cashier, a pause before judging someone's mistake, a message sent with care, a refusal to gossip when gossip would be easy, a boundary expressed without humiliation. Such moments are rarely celebrated, but they reduce suffering. The world is shaped not only by grand actions, but by the quality of presence people bring into ordinary exchanges. When your happiness is quiet, it does not seek to dominate the room, it creates room. Others do not feel forced to admire you. They feel allowed to breathe. This is a rare gift in a world where many are performing, defending, and competing for attention. A peaceful person can become a refuge, not because they are perfect, but because they are not constantly exporting their inner chaos. Of course, you will still have difficult days. Peace does not make you permanently gentle. There will be irritation, impatience, fatigue, and sadness. The difference is that awareness helps you return faster. You can apologize without collapsing into shame, repair without pretending nothing happened, rest before resentment becomes your language. Compassion toward others remains connected to compassion toward yourself. The two cannot be separated for long. If you abuse yourself internally, your kindness will eventually become strained. If you care only for yourself, peace becomes narrow. The path asks for both. A heart that is rooted within and open beyond itself. When you stop living to be seen, your presence becomes more honest. You do not need to announce your growth. Let your way of being speak. Let your listening speak. Let your refusal to harm yourself speak. Let your quiet kindness speak. A lamp does not need to argue with darkness. It shines because that is its nature. In the same way, a peaceful heart naturally shares peace. True happiness is experienced in silence, but it does not remain trapped inside you. It becomes the atmosphere you carry, the gentleness you offer, the clarity you protect, and the compassion that moves through your life without needing applause. Chapter 13. Trust the quiet path that belongs to you. Healing often happens so quietly that you may not recognize it as progress. No one applauds when you choose not to send the desperate message. No one gives you a certificate when you stop blaming yourself for something that was never fully yours. No one sees the moment you take one breath before reacting, or the night you finally sleep instead of replaying an old wound. Because these victories are quiet, the mind may dismiss them. It wants dramatic evidence, a complete transformation, a sudden awakening, a visible before and after. Yet the Buddhist path is not usually a lightning strike. It is a daily return, a softening of one reaction, a loosening of one attachment, a little more awareness in a place where there used to be only habit. This chapter is about trusting that quiet path. Many people doubt themselves because their healing does not look impressive. They still feel anxiety. Old grief still visits. Certain people still trigger them. Meditation is not always peaceful. Letting go takes longer than expected. A bad day makes them think they are back at the beginning. If this is you, listen carefully. Returning to an old feeling is not the same as becoming your old self. A wave can come back without carrying you to the same shore. Progress is not proven by never struggling. It is revealed in how you meet the struggle. Perhaps you used to collapse completely when someone withdrew affection. Now, it still hurts, but a small part of you remains present. Maybe criticism once destroyed your whole day. Now it stings, but you can breathe and examine it. In the past, you may have punished yourself for every mistake. Today, the harsh voice appears, yet another voice answers with compassion. That is not nothing. That is the path becoming real. Imagine a seed beneath the soil. For a long time, nothing seems to happen. Someone looking from above may say the ground is empty, but below the surface, roots are forming in darkness. The seed is not failing because it has not yet broken through. It is doing hidden work. Your peace often grows the same way. Silent choices become roots. Private courage becomes roots. Moments of restraint, honesty, rest, forgiveness, and self-respect become roots. One day, what has been forming in silence begins to show. Others may call it sudden change, but you will know it was built through countless unseen returns. Trusting your path means releasing comparison. Another person may seem more peaceful, more disciplined, more spiritually mature, or more successful in healing. You do not know the full conditions of their life. You do not know their private battles, their causes, their timing, or the lessons waiting for them. Comparison takes your eyes away from the step in front of you. Buddhism is practical here. No one can walk your path with your feet. No one can breathe your breath. No one can observe your mind for you. Teachers can guide. Books can point. Community can support. Still, the practice must become intimate. Your pace may be slower than your ambition wants, but slowness is not failure when depth is being formed. Some transformations must be slow because they are touching old roots. If you rush them, you may only create another performance. Real peace cannot be faked for long. It must be lived into the nervous system, the choices, the speech, the relationships, and the way you meet disappointment. Trust also means accepting that not everyone will understand your quiet changes. Some people only recognize growth when it is loud, profitable, beautiful, or socially impressive. They may not notice that you are less reactive, less dependent, less hungry for approval, less willing to betray yourself. They may not praise the calm you fought hard to build. Let that be okay. If you need the world to validate your healing, you are still tied to the old wound. Let the healing itself be enough. The fact that you feel more honest inside your own life is enough. The fact that your peace no longer requires as much performance is enough. The fact that you can spend time alone without feeling abandoned by yourself is enough. This does not mean you stop growing. Trusting the path is not complacency. It is steady effort without self-violence. In Buddhist practice, transformation is made of repetition. You sit, wander, notice, return. You speak, make a mistake, notice, repair. You cling, suffer, notice, loosen. You forget, then remember. Again and again, the path is not ruined by forgetting. It is strengthened by returning. A person who returns 1,000 times is practicing 1,000 times. Be careful of the mind that says, if I were truly healed, this would not hurt. Some things hurt because you are human, not because you are failing. The death of a dream hurts. Rejection hurts. Change hurts. The difference is whether pain becomes a prison or a teacher. With awareness, even pain can become part of the path. It shows where attachment remains, where compassion is needed, where boundaries must be built, where grief asks to be honored. Nothing is wasted when met with presence. This is a powerful reversal. The very experiences you thought proved you were broken may become the places where wisdom grows. Trust the quiet path by honoring small signs. A calmer morning, a more honest no, a less desperate yes. A pause before explaining, a choice to rest, a moment of gratitude that arrives without being forced, a willingness to let someone misunderstand you without chasing them. These are signs of inner freedom. They may not impress the world, but they change the life you are actually living. Not all growth is loud. In fact, The deepest growth often happens where no one can clap for it. A tree does not announce root work. The ocean does not explain its depth. Dawn does not ask permission before bringing light. Let your peace become like that. Quiet, steady, undeniable. There may come a day when you realize you are no longer waiting for the same apology, craving the same approval, fearing the same silence, or performing the same happiness. The shift may be gentle. No trumpet will sound. You may simply notice that your breath is easier. The room feels less like a cage. Your own company feels less like punishment. That is freedom arriving softly. Trust it. Do not demand that healing entertain you with constant evidence. Keep practicing. Keep returning. Keep choosing the kind of silence that protects your soul. True happiness is experienced in silence, because the most important changes are often too deep to be displayed. They do not need to be seen to be real. They only need to be lived. Conclusion. What silence taught me about real happiness? I used to believe happiness was something a person had to hold, name, explain, and prove. I thought that if life became successful enough, if enough people understood me, if enough love arrived, if enough recognition gathered around my work, then the mind would naturally become peaceful. For a long time, I watched people chase that same promise. Some chased it through achievement. Others chased it through relationships, beauty, approval, spirituality, or the image of being strong. Many looked fine from the outside, yet their eyes carried a fatigue they could not easily describe. The more I observed, the more one truth became impossible to ignore. Often, real happiness does not come when we finally add one more thing to life. It comes when we no longer need to use life to prove that we are worthy. Writing these teachings brought me back to the value of silence. Not the silence of fear, not the silence of swallowing pain just to keep others comfortable, not the silence of someone who has given up. I mean the silence that returns you to yourself. The silence where your breath becomes honest again. The silence where you stop performing strength and begin feeling what is true. In that space, I realized that many wounds do not need more explanation. They need presence. Certain losses do not need endless analysis. They need to be held with compassion. Some joys do not need to be announced. They need to be protected long enough to become roots. This audiobook, for me, is not only about Buddhism as an idea. It is about the ordinary human struggle of wanting to be seen and the deeper freedom of no longer being ruled by that wanting. I have learned that people suffer quietly when they believe their peace depends on someone else's approval. They wait for a message, a compliment, an apology, a sign, a public victory, a visible transformation. Yet the heart becomes exhausted when it lives as if permission must come from outside. The Buddhist path offers something gentler and stronger. It says, return to the breath, look at the craving, notice the clinging, see the impermanence, speak with care, let go with dignity, begin again without hatred. This does not solve every problem in a dramatic way. It solves something deeper. It gives you back the place inside yourself from which problems can be met without losing your entire being. If these teachings can help you in one way, I hope they help you stop chasing the eyes of the world. I hope they remind you that being misunderstood does not remove your truth. Being unseen does not erase your worth. Being quiet does not make your happiness smaller. A single mindful breath can be the beginning of freedom. One moment of not reacting can change the direction of a whole day. One act of self-forgiveness can soften years of inner punishment. A private decision to stop abandoning yourself can become the doorway to a new life. Looking back over these teachings, I carry one simple recognition. Real happiness does not need to be loud in order to be powerful. If today you can be a little more peaceful without needing anyone to know, if you can loosen your grip on something that has been hurting you, if you can smile quietly without turning that smile into proof, then you have already touched something sacred. It is a happiness close to the heart of Buddhist wisdom, silent, steady, free, and impossible for the outside world to take away.